Team, welcome back. Chef Eric here. I often get asked what would be my top 3 beginning cooks. And, some low and slow aside, I think one of my favorite steaks to cook is the... Wait a minute now. let's put a little test out there, all right? The Tuscan steak. The Tuscan what? Bistecca alla Florentina. Now, what steak am I talking about? The ingredients, super simple. Parsley, rosemary, garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper. Beautiful. What is the classic bistecca alla Florentina cut? It's the T-bone, baby. Let's get in the action. So, yeah, watch out back. This is one of my favorites, and it's super... Oh, jeez.
Well, it's out back. They heard.
Hey babe, can I call you right back? Well, I'm a real person too, Yeah. All right, so check this out. This is a beautiful T-bone. Not quite a porterhouse. Just set it on the outside here. Look how that marinade just sticks to it. You're looking from anywhere from, 3 hours to 24 hours on this. There's nothing really acidic that's gonna start cooking this, but it just gets better and better. I've got a nice fillet side here. You can tell this one was cut closer to the ribeye. It's a great, well marbled loin side. But this is super simple, okay? Very simple ingredients and very simple methods. Today we've stabilized our grill at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And check out the setup. Just one of my favorite setups of all time, all right? A direct side lower to the coals, and an indirect side using a deflector shield, the half moon, and that grill grate at the highest portion. That's gonna allow us to get a big bold sear and move over to indirect. So if you were doing this inside, like think back at how you would cook on a cast iron pan up top, get a sear, and then finish in the oven, same, all right? So big sear, and then move over to a more controlled area. So let's go ahead and take this beautiful T-bone that we've marinated, and look at all of that gorgeousness. Now, anytime I drop a steak, I do a drag test. Notice how it's just ice skating right across. That's what we want. And I'm gonna put a little positive pressure. Beautiful. If you're worried about those flames, just go ahead and close the dome, and we're gonna shut that down a little bit. That's gonna extinguish that fire. We're still getting that big, bold, beautiful sear. One thing to note, when you do that, it's starving for oxygen at this point. So we're gonna have to be sure to open all the airflow back up from the draft door and the control tower, and we're gonna burp that grill. Very important to note. Again, this is extremely important, okay? So it's starving for oxygen. We're gonna go ahead and open up that top, and then we're gonna open up the bottom, and we're gonna let all that spent oxygen release. We're gonna let the air flow back into the grill. And then when I say burp the grill, and there's not a lot of videos about this, but you don't want that backdraft or that flash coming at you. So what we're gonna do is hit the latch and slowly incorporate oxygen into the grill, and then we open. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and turn that steak. And you don't have to worry about the perfect grill marks, right? If you're familiar with the channel, oftentimes I talk about how grill marks should have gone out in the 90s, right? But it does help from a timing aspect. If you think 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and then move over, that's great. Okay, if that's what we need to do today, that's what we need to do. But I don't mind flipping this thing as many times as we want. Now, if we close this dome, look at all this smoke. This comes from the marinade, but also from that fat cap starting to drip down. So we're gonna smoke this steak with its own drippings. As that collagen breaks down and turns to gelatin and drips on the charcoal, caramelizes on the charcoal, comes back as beef smoke. That's a beautiful thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at that first side. So I want a little more caramelization, so I'm gonna put a little more positive pressure right there. We'll give it another minute. All right, let's give it a flip. Oh yeah. Remember, this is all about getting caramelization, embracing the flame, right? We want char, we want that Maillard reaction you hear us talk about on the channel so much. So once we get the good bark that we're looking for, that's when we then graduate it to the other side where it's semi-indirect to finish to get to our internal temperature. Today for this steak, we're running, I want to see about a internal temperature of 130 before we pull off for the rest. And I like that. I'm gonna place that beauty right there. I'm gonna put the bone side towards the heat, which is licking over. And we're feeling pretty good. I bet we're another 5 minutes away from hitting that target temperature of 130 degrees. Let's close the dome so that we can use the natural lump charcoal as our secret ingredient. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, baby. Let's look at that other side. That is nice. Good caramelization all around. I like the char that we've got on the edges here. That's the way I like my steak. Now we got to let it rest. This is extremely important, all right? We cannot underestimate the importance of letting this steak rest. All the juices are kind of tight right now. We want them to redistribute throughout. So if we slice into this and there's a bunch of juice on the cutting board, shame on us, okay? We want that juice in every single bite. One little tip I'll give you while we're letting this rest and it's nice and hot, fresh off the grill, we're gonna put a butter top on it, okay? So we'll let it rest with just a little knob of butter. I like that fat content. It's just gonna sit there. We can help it a little bit, but don't agitate the seasoning so much that it's coming off. And if we wanted to, you know, if we were gonna say wait 5-10 minutes and it went over to 15 minutes, oh my goodness, now my steak is a little cool, we could throw it back on there, blister sear it real quick, and then bring it back and slice it, and it would toast that butter and give that beurre noisette kind of French flavor. But for us right now, we're just gonna let it rest. We're gonna let that butter do its magic. What else is there to say? You know what I mean? You go get a beverage. We are properly rested. Remember at the beginning we talked about this being a T-bone. There are two separate cuts here. I like to trace that bone and carve off the fillet, then carve off the loin side. And the best way to do that is just to stand it up, put the knife next to that bone, trace down to that spinal region, and trim off. And now we've got the fillet side there. Let's do the same just on the other side of that bone. And there's that gorgeous T-bone we're looking for, which is great for presentations, right? We can set it just like so, and then kind of rebuild those steaks on their respective sides. All right, team, for a rare, we're spot on, but I want to show you this. If we need to bring it up a little bit, just because we cut it off the bone doesn't mean we can't put it back on, right? And if I want to keep this warm, perhaps the fillet, I want to keep that rare, but I want to bring the strip or ribeye side up a little bit, we can just stack like that, and then we're going to get a little bit more temperature. I like a steak that's nicely marbled to be more of a medium rare than a rare. There's no point in having a rare steak that you bought with nice marbling because you don't get the benefits from it, right? We need that collagen to break down and turn into gelatin, which means flavor and moisture content. So we're going to bring this up a little bit, and that is just fine, even though we've already sliced it off the bone. So beautiful things are happening. Let's close this dome. Let's give it another minute and a half, flip it, another minute and a half, and then we slice. All right, let's give it a flip, and let's not forget this little bit here. That's the chef's,
fun.
That's the chef's treat, you know. We'll just bring that up a little as well while we're at it. And then again, a little flip. Beautiful. And that's what we want. I love cooking like this. Being an active participant is what keeps me engaged and interested in this. Yeah, we could use a thermometer. In fact, I would suggest using a thermometer. We didn't want to pull that off at a rare. I felt it. I saw the flames earlier. I psyched myself out. I thought we were there, you know. A simple instant read thermometer will tell you exactly where you are. Still gunning for that initial 130. But I love now we had the opportunity to season this bone up a little bit. There's still some meat on there. That's going to be my favorite bite. I promise you that. 2 more minutes. We're going to pull everything off, and then we're ready to slice. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and slice that fillet and try to keep it together as well. Oh yeah. And now we're going to keep that as its own steak, and then we're going to do the same thing with the loin side. And look at where we're at. Now that's going to begin to bloom out. We're going to see a nice medium rare there as the myoglobin interacts with the oxygen. It's going to rouge out, or bloom as we call it. And look how we did a good job of keeping that all together. Now let's grab that bone and continue to plate up. I chose some fingerling potatoes that we had today just to plate up, but sky's the limit, right? Do what you want to do. You can do mashed potatoes, you can do glazed carrots, you can do anything at all that you want. We've got a little bit of board sauce here, right on top. Stunner. Sliding over. That's awesome. That is fabulous. That's the bite of the day. That's fabulous. Yet another example of simple things done perfectly win every single time. Yes, this is one of the first 3 beginning cooks that I would suggest. So if you've been cooking for 2 weeks or 2 years or 20 years, this will never fail you. This is a tried and true, all right? Just big, bold, steaky flavors, elevated by simple ingredients. I absolutely love it. Folks, if you enjoyed this as much as I just enjoyed taking that bite, do me a favor, subscribe, hit the like button, do leave us a comment. We love reading and responding to those. And as always, from our backyard to yours, cheers and happy grilling.